In this video, I'll be going in depth to different representations that you can use when teaching grid multiplication. First, the Deans can be used to introduce learners to an active experience of partitioning and grouping. For example, here we can clearly see two sets of 10 that can be added together to make 20. The Deans are a good starting point for partitioning because they very clearly show quantity value as they're broken up into cubes of 1, strips of 10, and squares of 100. I would use the Deans when introducing the grid methods to learners, as it's important to provide learners with a relational understanding of partitioning and grouping. The Deans are an excellent resource for this, as learners can see a physical representation of the numbers involved in the calculations. So here, for example, we have 20 times 30. We use 100. 200. 300. 400, 500, 600. So we have 6 100 squares, make 600 together. So we have 30 in 1, so we have 3 10s, 30. That's 3 20s, which is 60. And 3 1s, which is 3. The Deans are also very helpful for learners to add together the results of the individual sums using repeated addition. For example, here we have 6 100s and 6 10s, which we know is 660. And here we have 3 10s and 3 1s, which is 33. Add those together and get 693. Next are the place value counters. The counters, like the Deans, are a good representation to show partitioning and grouping. Unlike the Deans, the place value counters show quantity value symbolically through the numbers on the counters rather than through size or shape. However, they are coloured to help learners differentiate between the different sizes so they're not confused. The counters can be used to show exchange to learners. For example, here, instead of using 60 tens counters for 600, we can instead use 600s counters. I would use the counters to demonstrate grouping to learners. As you can see here, it is very easy to partition and group large numbers into 100s, 10s and 1s with counters without it getting too overwhelming or busy like you can with the Deans. Here we have 2 10s times 3, 60. And finally, 1 times 3 is 3. As with the Deans, it's very easy to add together using the place value counters. 600 plus 60 and 30 plus 3 equals 693. Finally, the place value cards. These cards are a useful representation as they allow the learner to physically put together numbers and then partition them. For example, here I can split the number 33 into 30 and 3. Place value cards can be used as progression from the place value counters when the learner is more comfortable with partitioning and grouping numbers. Rather than breaking down a number into so many tens and so many units, by this point the learner will have the understanding that 30 is 3 tens without having to physically partition them. They will gain this relational understanding through practice with the other representations shown earlier in the video.